We're with Mellon Thomas Benedict. I'm George Norrie. This, of course, Coast to Coast AM. Mellon, how do we really know that there is life after death? What if there was just some bizarre experience that, you really weren't dead, but your mind created this dream image of what happened? How do we know?
Well, I think you have to find out for yourself, honestly. It's like anything else. Until you've had the experience, you will know. And we have more and more people now reporting the same experience. And it's one of those things where you have to try it for yourself.
you got to be there.
Yeah.
Well, reincarnation, something that I've always believed in. I don't know why I've always believed it, but how about you?
Well, I never even heard of the concept, basically, until I was educated by the light. The light said that, almost every culture on Earth believes in some form of reincarnation, including Christians.
True.
And what I was shown was that the spiritual explanation, or the New Age explanation, or the spiritual explanation of reincarnation is rather flimsy. But the quantum mechanics and the quantum physics are solid, and this will be a science in the future. And so I was educated on the quantum nature of the reality of reincarnation, and that this is more real and more dynamic than people imagine.
Do you think that we should all live for the moment?
Oh, sure, because, it's been said many times, and I'll put it my way, there is no past, there is no future. It is always going to be now. It's always now. So when we learn to live in the now, not live in some perceived past or some perceived future, the now becomes perfect, and then the past and the present can be perfect. And as far as the past goes, history, all the history books are always changing. If you're a history scholar, the story of history is always changing. It's not set in stone at all. And of course, the history books are written by the winners. So the myth of a past is an illusion. And one interesting thing is that if you look around you today, we still have Stone Age people living with us. The past, what we call the past, is still in the now. We have the Aborigines. We also have people that are more advanced than we are on the planet, that you might call them futurist. They're living here now. We have dinosaurs are still living with us in one form or another, birds and things like that. It's all here now. The past, the present, and the future are here right in front of us. We just don't notice it.
Science is beginning to talk, Mellon, about multiverses now, more than the dimensions we believe exist. If you've been there, you might believe, I would assume, that there are many more dimensions out there.
Well, it's actually very interesting. There are, but understand this, too, that you can create new dimensions just by thinking about them, and that because all thoughts are quanta. All thoughts are real, physical things. And it turns out there is nothing metaphysical in the universe. It's all physical or superphysical. And so your thoughts are true quanta. And so just having a new thought creates a new dimension. So that's like, chasing the tiger by its tail. It's one of those things where, did I create this dimension, or was it there before I created it? You see what I mean? It becomes very, very trippy, doesn't it?
And what came first?
Yes, the chicken or the egg.
The angels that were there when you died, can you summon them at any moment?
I love this part because most of the angels that we know or experience brilliance are angels that we created with our prayers and our desires. We actually can create angels, and we create them when we need them, and then the minute the crisis passes, we forget them. So, but we've created them, and they are not uncreated. So there's an awful lot of angels that have been created and looking for work.
What about the fallen angels? Did you ever learn about that when you were on the other side?
Yes, and that's a mental myth of that's an intellectual mind myth. No one has fallen. That kind of thing is just a myth of an intellectual mind that basically is a division. The one thing I saw was there's always supposed to have been this battle between the children of the dark and the children of the light. And what that really, really means, as was explained to me, is that there is still this division between the conscious and the subconscious, the animal nature of ourselves and the super part of ourselves. And a good metaphor for this that people overlook is the story of Cain and Abel. And I was shown in all the religions what all these metaphors meant. And in the story of Cain and Abel, Cain represented the body, the biology, the animal part of our nature. And, of course, Cain didn't have a good concept of God, and always worked hard, and had the lower, what we call the lower nature, but it isn't. It was sacred. And then you have Abel, who was the basic star child, the upper brain. And everything came easy to it, and, in fact, to the upper brain, it thinks it created the universe. But the lesson was, and this is the mind-body connection in health, is that if you have a battle going on between your subconscious and your conscious, say your subconscious believes money's not good for some reason, and the conscious wants money, you're going to have a difficult time manifesting. There's going to be a struggle there. But the other thing is the self-talk people do when they talk bad to themselves. I have a friend who plays tennis, and every time he makes a mistake, he says, "Oh, you stupid ass," or you're ignorant, and he puts his body down. Well, you can actually create resistance between your subconscious and your conscious, and I'll tell you what, the subconscious will always win. It will take you down. And the example is that Cain killed Abel. It's like this. It's a very strong message to learn that, and the kahunas teach this the best, I think. The Polynesian kahunas, which I love. They teach us the best. They tell you to get to know yourself. You have what we call a subconscious, a conscious, and a superconscious. And the biggest leap we're ever going to make is just a few millimeters from the lower brain to the higher brain to get that bridge together where they're working in unison. And even the metaphor in the Bible says, "Where any two of you ask in my name, and it shall be manifest." That's when you get the subconscious and the conscious mind understanding each other, and they get in link and they become coherent like a laser beam. And manifestation can happen. If we could manifest anything willy-nilly in an incohesive way, this would be a chaotic, dangerous world to live in. If your neighbor's dog was barking, you go, the dog disappears. The truth is that there's a natural way to manifest and a manifestation, and that is you've really got to get to know yourself, and you can change yourself. If your subconscious believes money is bad and your conscious wants it, well, you have to understand why your conscious wants it, and also work with your subconscious to correct those wrong programs that we have that were hardwired probably before you were 6 years old about life and these things. And so that's one of the biggest things you can do is get to know yourself and become harmonious with yourself. And you're going to find then that manifestation and getting what you truly want can happen much easier. Quite often I had a friend who wanted to manifest a Corvette. He lived in a trailer, and he manifested the Corvette, but then he couldn't afford to put gas in it. You see? So
always consequences, huh?
Yes. And so the battle of the sons of light and the sons of darkness is really a metaphor for what's going on inside of ourselves. And the whole thing about, the 666, you've got to carry that all the way over because it came from numerology, and then you've got to add the 666 together, which is 18, which is 9, and that's the number of man. So the beast is within us.
deeply within us, too.